James Rodriguez will forever be remembered for that wonderful volley at the 2014 World Cup, which got him the Puskás Award that year. After that tournament, he was the hottest player on the transfer market and had a pick of clubs to choose from. Real Madrid was his inevitable destination, and expectations were high for the Colombian attacking midfielder. But ever since that 2014 World Cup performance, James didn't have the best of career arcs. The talent and potential were undeniable, but somehow he always fell short of expectations. Injuries weren't too kind either, and James struggled to be consistent over seasons. He found a manager who truly understood him in Carlo Ancelotti and followed him to Bayern Munich as well as Everton after Real Madrid. But James has found the past decade hard for him to justify his potential, until the Copa America of 2024, where we were treated to glimpses of his past self. He led a resolute Colombia to the final, setting up 6 goals and scoring 1 in 5 matches leading up to it. Even though they eventually lost to Argentina after extra time in the final, the valiant effort shouldn't go unnoticed. He carved out passes with pinpoint accuracy, and watching his vision unfold was a treat. But where is James Rodriguez nowadays? A player as experienced and technically gifted as him should be in the headlines on a weekly basis. Let's look back at his decade-old rise and try to understand if his current form is sustainable and worth taking a gamble on. In 2006, James Rodriguez began his professional career at the age of 14 with Colombian club Envigado. He consistently stood out in that age group and made a move to Banfield, a club in Argentina. At Banfield, his talent was even more noticeable. In 2010, James' career took a significant step forward when he signed with FC Porto. During his time at Porto, he won 3 league titles and became a key player for his team. His performances earned him the SJPF Player of the Month award several times and showcased his potential for even greater things. AS Monaco then signed James in 2013 as big clubs around Europe had become aware of his rising potential. He scored 10 goals and supplied a further 14 assists in the 2013-14 season. The 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil was James Rodriguez's announcement to the world that he was ready for bigger and better things. His lovely chested touch and top bins volley against Uruguay in the round of 16 was awarded as the FIFA Puskás Award for the best goal of the year. Colombia reached the quarterfinals for the first time in their history, largely thanks to James' brilliant performances. He scored 6 goals and provided 2 assists in just 5 matches. He also bagged the Man of the Match award in 4 of these games. Rodriguez started the tournament in superb form, scoring in every match Colombia played until their elimination. In their opening match against Greece, he scored the 3rd goal in a 3-0 victory and provided an assist. In the next game against the Ivory Coast, Rodriguez opened the scoring with a powerful header and was pivotal in their 2-1 win. In the last group stage match against Japan, he came off the bench to score once and set up another goal in a 4-1 victory, securing Colombia's place in the knockouts. The round of 16 match against Uruguay was where Rodriguez announced himself on the global stage. He scored both goals in a 2-0 victory, one of which is remembered as one of the greatest goals in World Cup history. In the quarterfinals, Colombia were then up against hosts Brazil. Despite a resolute performance, Colombia eventually lost 2-1. Rodriguez scored a penalty in the match to bring his total to 6 goals in the tournament. An emotional James couldn't hold his tears back at full time, and in that moment, the whole world felt for him. David Luiz memorably went up to the distraught Colombian and tried to console him. The goal catalogue had all kinds of techniques involved, which was what impressed everyone even more. From clinical finishes, a well-timed header, and a composed penalty to an absolute banger from outside the box, the variety of techniques were a brilliant display of his talents. Beyond just numbers, his impact on the national team was huge. He was the creative outlet of the team, progressing the ball from midfield and linking up with attackers up front. James' vision and accurate passing allowed him to create lots of chances, while his composed dribbling and flair provided Colombia with a guarantee of goal-scoring chances. His performances helped the entire team perform above their standards, and his confidence on the ball allowed his teammates to trust his instincts. James' achievements at the World Cup were impressive even from a world-class player's point of view, and he was just a youngster back then. His displays led to the whole world becoming informed of his abilities, and a dream transfer to Real Madrid was the result shortly after the tournament. A whopping €75 million was the transfer fee. After the World Cup, James was one of the hottest prospects in world football. Real Madrid signed him from AS Monaco for a huge fee, and that increased further expectations. His debut season with Los Blancos was quite promising. Under Carlo Ancelotti, he scored 13 goals and supplied 13 assists in La Liga, despite missing a part of the season due to injury issues. His performances got him a spot in the FIFA World 11 that year. But James' career at Real Madrid did not keep up with the expectations after Ancelotti left. James struggled to fit into the plans of subsequent managers Rafael Benitez and Zinedine Zidane. His form was inconsistent, and he found himself on the bench more often than not. Despite flashes of his elite abilities, he couldn't get a consistent starting place in the team. The numbers he put up in the following seasons didn't justify the price tag. In 2015-16, he scored 8 goals and supplied 10 assists in all competitions. This turned to 11 goals and 13 assists the next season in 2016-17. It was decided that the best way forward for the club and player was a loan move to Bayern Munich in 2017. In Germany, under his former manager Carlo Ancelotti and later Jupp Heynckes, James showed glimpses of his old self. In the 2017-18 season, he scored 7 goals and provided 11 assists in the Bundesliga. However, injuries and competition for places meant he couldn't establish himself as a crucial figure. James then returned to Real Madrid in 2019, but faced the same issues. Zidane's system did not favour his style of play, and injuries continued to haunt him. In his last season at Los Blancos, James only made 14 appearances and scored just 1 goal. In 2020, he opted for a fresh start by reuniting with Carlo Ancelotti at Everton. The Premier League was a new challenge, and James seemed to adapt well at the beginning. He became a key creator for the Toffees and was involved in lots of goals. But injuries once again hampered his progress, and his form took a dive as the season went on. He finished the season with 6 goals and 4 assists in 26 appearances. In September 2021, James called it quits on high-level football and made a move to Qatar. A year later, he signed for Greek side Olympiacos, but left before even completing a full year. He decided to move to Sao Paulo in June 2023 and is still under contract at the Brazilian club. He's only made 22 appearances for the club with 2 goals and 4 assists in that time. And even though the recent club performances weren't all too special, no one expected him to bounce back in the international spotlight as well as he did at the Copa America. James captained his Colombia side through the Copa America in July 2024. He put on consistent performances match after match and stood tall against tough opposition. He took the free roaming role in the team and fulfilled the responsibilities of the prime creator of the team. The playmaking ability and his vision was on display throughout the tournament. James had 20 key passes in 6 games, along with 6 assists to boast his creativity. An underrated quality was his dead ball deliveries for aerially dominant Colombian players to get on the end of. Losing in the final was a major heartbreak for Colombia. James was named the player of the tournament very deservingly. The performances also highlight how important vision and football intelligence are in an elite creator, rather than just pure athleticism. James' career has been full of highs and lows. From his early days in Colombia as an upcoming star to the top of the 2014 World Cup, James' talent was never in doubt. But injuries, managerial changes, and inconsistency prevented him from maintaining the heights required to be an elite player. His move to Everton was a final attempt to revive his career, but it couldn't beat his fitness issues. The story of James is a stark reminder that talent alone isn't enough to guarantee success in football. Consistency, adaptability, and fitness are just as important in the long run. Despite the unfulfilled expectations, James will always be remembered for his magical World Cup performance and his moments of brilliance on the pitch. The recent exploits at Copa America raised the question regarding James Rodriguez's ability to still make a difference at a bigger club. He's mutually agreed to terminate his contract with Sao Paulo and is a free agent now. He wants to return to Europe for one last dance and believes he still has something left in the tank to make a difference. Do you think James would have reached greater heights if not for the injuries? Is he still capable of making a difference at a major European club? If so, then where? Let us know below.